What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the other day I saw something over on Reddit, which made me laugh and laugh and laugh again because it's insane how close the community is when it comes to their reactions between Battlefield 6 and also the most iconic games in the whole franchise, like Battlefield 3. It's almost like Battlefield 6 is completely repeating history, and the community doesn't even see it coming. But ladies and gentlemen, before we go and dive deep, I do want to start off this video with a little something I saw on Twitter by Battlefield Bulletin saying, according to a community's poll with over 10,000 votes via Battlefield, Siege of Cairo is the most favorite map from Battlefield 6's open beta, whereas Iberian Offensive is the less favorite map. And this is the poll right here, as you can see. Starts off with Siege of Cairo being up top, Liberation Peak being second, Empire State being third, and Iberian Offensive being fourth. Not a bad list if I'm going to be honest with you guys, but I feel like Iberian Offensive is getting a lot of crap for no reason. It's definitely up there for me personally. I think it might even be in my top 2. In my personal opinion, it feels amazing fighting throughout the streets, going into all the buildings and, going first floor, second floor, blowing up all the walls, the floors, having insane indoor combat. The C section is freaking insane. You can do the most wild stuff in there. And even if you want a bit more of a relaxed, session, you can go to the outskirts where that grassy area is and have some more open combat for longer range rifles. Personally, I don't think it's that bad, but I don't know. I would love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comment section below. I'm actually pretty shocked that Liberation Peak got second place here. I personally believe it's because obviously it's one of the bigger maps and we didn't get that many big maps when it came to Battlefield. So that was probably where we got the most variety. We had jet gameplay, helicopter gameplay, tank gameplay. We had everything AA. It's a lot more bigger of a format. And honestly, I think Liberation Peak got a lot more hate than it deserved because there's a lot of ways infantry players can navigate around that map while staying safe from a bunch of armor, while at the same time, armor can still have a good time themselves. But as I was saying, I'm just kind of shocked at second place because all I see online is people crapping on it. But my personal list would probably go, I gotta agree, Siege of Cairo might be my favorite out of the beta so far. Then it'll probably be Iberian Offensive, Liberation Peak, and then Empire State. And honestly, I want to put Empire State up a little bit more, but since it's only an infantry map and there's no vehicles or anything in there, it's a little hard to rate it, off of my Battlefield senses. But I still think it's a pretty darn good, meat grinder type of map. If I had to put it up against Metro or Lockers, I'm going to be honest, this might get a lot of hate. But, I always have the most insane, controversial opinions. I would probably take Empire State over Locker. I don't know about Metro. I think I would definitely prefer Metro, but Lockers, I think I would actually take Empire State. But again, that's just my unpopular opinion. But ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the actual topic of today's video. How history is repeating itself within Battlefield 6. I actually saw this post over on Reddit by ProtoXLOL saying, PSA, just a daily reminder that veteran Battlefield fans have been complaining about Battlefield since Battlefield 3 in 2011. Now, I've mentioned this time and time again. How everybody is overreacting, saying that Battlefield 6 is literally a Call of Duty clone. And I've stated, this has been happening for ages, ladies and gentlemen. And honestly, it's making me think that Battlefield 6 might be a banging Battlefield game because all the best Battlefield games in the franchise started off exactly like that. People saying it played too much like Call of Duty, and now they're the most iconic games ever. But Proto actually had a little bit of proof in his back pocket to showcase. And I'm very excited to read some of these off because I think it's hilarious because it literally sounds exactly like what people are saying right now on Reddit regarding Battlefield 6. The first post by Moses from 13 years ago. The OP is absolutely correct. I thought the exact thing myself. Flashlights, lasers. I wasn't sure for a minute if the people at DICE were trying to make this COD, Battlefield, or Rainbow Six Vegas 2. I'm convinced that they have tried hard to lure the COD players, and if you read posts on here carefully, you'll realize that they have already lured them. This game, beta, absolutely plays like the airport level. I just hope they don't ruin the Battlefield experience by bringing all those 12-year-olds over to Battlefield. Yesterday, as I'm passing my son's room, he's sitting there with his Turtle Beach DX11s, playing the beta with one of his school friends. This friend of his played Black Ops exclusively, and guess what? He's getting Battlefield 3. Oh no! Deny it if you want to. The beta has a COD feel to it, and it was done on purpose. And ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind, this is for Battlefield 3 during the beta. Funny enough, you know what's even funnier? During the Battlefield 3 beta, there was one other map. I think it was Caspian Border. Am I right or am I wrong? Someone down in the comment section, go ahead and correct me on that statement. But other than that, it was Operation Metro, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody is complaining like nobody else's business that they did not, go ahead and showcase any other maps. Yet and still, back in the OG Battlefield games, they did the same exact thing. And you want to know why? To stress test a lot of the servers. I'm sure there was another map in the rotation. But the iconic map for them was Operation Metro. They wanted to push with that map. And guess what? Everybody said it was too codified. And now, fast forward to current date, it is one of the most popular maps within the whole Battlefield franchise. Absolutely hilarious. But like I just mentioned, a lot of the time, these developers push these small maps out to, again, stress test the servers and also get more action so they can go ahead and balance out weapons, find more bugs. I mean, let's be real here. You're not going to find as many bugs if you're on a massive open map, and the majority of players aren't that, outstanding, so they're not going to be able to find the routes to get 40, 50, 60 plus bodies. So they're probably only going to get like 5 kills. How are they going to test anything out or give any feedback based off of that? Nothing wrong with it. Again, a lot of people love that type of gameplay. And, it's popular within Battlefield. But for, again, stress testing and balance, changes, you'll want to just kind of condense everything down. And it's funny because people even said that back in the day. Here's another post by Nexrad saying, you're playing it on a small map with no vehicles. Of course, that doesn't feel like Battlefield. It's not testing gameplay. It's testing servers and the game client. So stop crying about it feeling like COD. Play all the maps, then try and say that. Oh, man. I'm telling you, does it not sound exactly like Battlefield 6 right now? And another response by Immortal Uber saying, this also means nothing, as the gameplay will stay the same. So it'll still feel like COD, beta or not. The same thing people are saying current date about Battlefield 6, saying that once we get out of beta, it's still going to feel like COD, and that's not changing. People were saying the same thing for Battlefield 3, and as I stated, it's one of the most popular Battlefield games in the whole franchise. I mean, what can I say? It's another post here by Tiger Jackson saying a lot of things are hella dumbed down. Removal of stationary guns /AAs. Also went with removing strategic parts of the map in my opinion. That's why so many maps are just cluster Fs and just don't play out well. Launch maps were hella small for a Battlefield game. Caspian, Firestorm, and maybe Karg are probably just medium at the most compared to old Battlefield maps. And yes, I'm taking PC flags into consideration. Most of the other maps were small infantry-based maps. Hella dumbed down gameplay. How was infinite ammo in vehicles supposed to be a good idea? Jets can just stalk other aircrafts, especially helicopters, for however long they want with no drawbacks. It just gets tedious. Like, can ya please F off? If you actually ran out of ammo, then you could fly over your airbase like in Battlefield 2. Ladies and gentlemen, the whole point I'm trying to make here with this video is that it's the same situation. It's the exact situation to a T. Everybody is saying the same exact things. And I'm going to be real with you guys. I think that means that we have a good game on our hands. I don't know. I'm going to take that as positive feedback right there. If everybody is so worried about the same things as Battlefield 3, and Battlefield 3 is one of the most popular Battlefield games out there, then, I mean, shoot. That must be just amazing. I've always said that Battlefield 6 gave me those Battlefield 3 vibes. I just felt Battlefield 3 in the Battlefield 6 identity. Of course, a lot of people preferred Battlefield 4, but I've always stated that I think Battlefield 3 is a better Battlefield game because it focused a little bit more on the infantry combat, whereas Battlefield 4 was more so, larger scaled combat, a lot more vehicles in play. So personally, I've always leaned more so onto the Battlefield 3 side. And that's what I like so much about Battlefield 6. It literally does everything that I loved about Battlefield 3. It allows infantry to play as infantry, while there's still vehicles scattered throughout the map, and they can still play, and you can still get in some tight spots and have insane vehicle moments. But it's not like a lot of more wide open maps, 50,000 tanks, the best choppers known to mankind, and over half of your deaths are racked up by the dude with the chopper with, 200 kills and 1 death maybe. That was the charm of Battlefield 3, and I feel that same charm in Battlefield 6. I don't know, maybe that just makes it a COD game because people thought the same thing back in the day. But regardless, seriously, history's repeating itself. I'm seeing it with my own eyes. We're seeing the same exact complaints. I mean, if you didn't tell me that these posts were from 12 to 13 years ago, I would have believed that they were talking about Battlefield 6 right now. I swear to God. So, I don't know what that means, but as I stated a couple of minutes ago, I'm just going to assume that means Battlefield 6 is good. And I just hope that the developers can prove a lot of the community wrong. And, if they don't, then I'm going to have to eat those words. But seriously, Battlefield 3 has a similar lineup. Smaller maps and a lot more larger maps, at launch and then obviously through DLC. And it seems like that is their vision with Battlefield 6. The devs already came out and said that these are literally the smallest maps in the game. And pretty much everything that we're going to see from launch moving forward will not be smaller than this size. It will all be larger. So it seems like we're following a similar path. I think people just need to give it a little bit of time. It might be that 2042 PTSD kicking in here that's making people worried. But, I mean, we didn't have any 2042 PTSD back in the day to make people say what they were saying. So, I don't know. I think people might be overreacting just a tad bit until they can see the final product. But only time will tell. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post here daily at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. And sometimes we even go ahead and double upload at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We post everything between COD, Battlefield, Splitgate 2, Arc Raiders. You best believe I try to cover as many FPS or third-person shooters as I possibly can. So, of course, subscribe and hit that bell. And last but not least, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, I'll link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all next one. Peace out.